Hello, my name is Miriam and I love books. If you've seen my channel name, you might have guessed that I'm trying to read 365 books this year. And every week I post a weekly wrap-up video in which I tell you about the books I read in the past week. And the past week I consider from Saturday till Friday for the sake of, I don't know, it just started out like that. Actually, it started out from Friday to Thursday, but then if the video came online on Monday I thought it was too long, so I switched to Saturday till Friday, so I have a bit more time for editing and stuff like that on the video. Today's weekly wrap-up video is about the books I read from Saturday the 5th of June until Friday the 11th of June, and I am back on track. Finally, I can say it when I'm filming the video. I mean, the last couple of weeks I said every time, I hope I'll be back on track by the time you see this video, but actually now I'm filming this video, I'm on track. I've read 162 books, and today, Friday the 11th of June, is the 162nd day of the year. I don't know how to say that. Maybe I did it wrong. I'm sorry. I used to be an English teacher, but I read 9 books in the past week, otherwise this would not have been possible. So yeah, well, I've been talking long enough. Let's just check out the books I read in the past week. So the first book I finished was the third book in the Intervention trilogy. I believe it was Downfall, the title, and it was a great book and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the entire trilogy. It was really good to read. Well, lately I've been reading a lot of just feel-good novels and YA books, and this was a thriller and that was good. But it was not like a very scary thriller because then I would not be able to sleep. But it was just a normal thriller that I enjoyed. So I'm happy about that, and I'm ready to change it up a bit more, because if you keep on reading feel-good novels and that sort of thing, then, well, it gets boring over time. The second book I read was a middle grade book called Kemper's I think I said in my TBR video for June that I was going to read The Lancaster, which is a Dutch original book, but it turned out that the third book in this series is called The Nachtwacht, which can be translated as The Night Watch, after that painting by famous Dutch painter Rembrandt. I read that book, it was a funny book, and I'm looking forward to next month when I can read the fourth book in this series, which is The Lancaster. The third book was also a Dutch original book called Storm over the Duiventil, which is a book in a YA series about a family. And this is by far the most tragic of them all, and I actually shed a tear when I was reading it, even though I knew what was going to happen. And I've read this book now, I don't think I've read this one as often as I've read the first 3 or 4 books in the series. This is the 5th book, but well, I cried, and that was actually the first time. I don't think I cried when I read it the first or the second time. Well, for some reason the last couple of years I'm getting more emotional when I read books, so I think that's the reason why I had to cry. Because the next book I read, the Dutch translation of The White Rose Resists, also made me cry. But that was because I realized that this story is based on true events, and one of the main characters and other characters in this book were really killed during the Second World War in Germany, and it was so tragic. I mean, they were so young, and this story, well, I would recommend it to anyone who's into historical novels about Second World War. The next book I finished was Echoes, written by the very talented Laura Tisdall. I hope I say her last name right. If not, then she can hopefully correct me sometime in the future, because I know Laura personally. Well, that seems like she's one of my best friends and I can't even pronounce her last name. But I actually encountered this book because I go to because when I'm in England, I go to the same church where Laura goes to. One of my friends in church said, "Have you read Echoes yet?" And I was like, "Echoes?" He said, "Yeah, that was written by Laura and I believe you will enjoy this." And I definitely did when I read it the first time. And even though there's like this plot twist that you know is coming when you read it for the second time, it was really interesting to read this again, and I really enjoyed it, and I hope Laura is going to write a lot more books because, well, it's just an amazing book and she has a great writing style. So if you have not read this book yet, then be sure to get your copy because it's a great book. The next book I finished was an audiobook I'd been listening to for a while. It was The Bookshop of the Brokenhearted by Robert Hillman, and I just encountered it on the Koa Plus app and I was like, well, it sounds interesting. And well, it was interesting but also a bit boring. I don't know. I've read a lot of stories about the Second World War, and this one, the concept was really great. It's about after the war, and a Jewish woman moves to Australia after she survives Auschwitz, and she opens a bookshop in a small town and other things happen, and I think that was the reason why I thought it was boring, even though quite a number of things happened. There was happening a bit too much, like well, there were too many storylines involved in the story, so there was no possibility of like going through one of those storylines in depth, and I think that's why what I didn't like about the book. And the bookshop, I mean, the title is The Bookshop for the Brokenhearted, and the bookshop does not play a very big part. I think I really liked the concept and the reason why the Jewish woman Hannah opened the bookshop, but I think that could have been worked out a lot better, and yeah, I thought it was a pity that things were done the way they were done. And the last 3 books I read in the past week were the New Heights trilogy by Denise Hunter. I did not really like the first book in the series. I mean, something happened and it was so not okay. But then I read the second book and that was, yeah, it was about a topic that I'm really interested in and want to read more about. So that's why I did enjoy that one. And to be honest, when I'm filming this, I have not finished the third book, but I know I will finish it today because I think I only have like an hour to read or something like that. So therefore I can't tell you what I think of that book yet, but I think I will also like this one because well, it sounds a bit strange, but the main character is not the standard person you meet in feel-good books, although these books are not really like, they're like somewhere in between just a normal novel and a feel-good novel. Like, I don't know, it's I don't know how to express it, but it's just the topics, there's quite a lot of romance in it, but the topics are also, well, they're quite heavy actually. So but anyway, I'm curious what I think of that book, but I know I will finish it today. So then I'm actually back on track. So I lied at the beginning of this video, but well, I know like for 99% I will be able to finish this book today. So, well, these were the books I read in the past. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, give it a thumbs up and let me know how your reading challenge is going this year. Are you on track? Are you behind? Are you ahead? Have you changed your reading challenge? Let me know in the comments. I really look forward to hear from you. If you're not a subscriber of my channel yet and you want to get updates on my reading challenge, then consider subscribing to my channel, and as always, happy reading.